Anyways, I just want to say so far, it's been a great June. It has been a great week. I celebrated my birthday on Sunday. I actually get to celebrate it with my sister, who was born on the same day 4 years later. I didn't care for that when I was a kid, but now I just wouldn't want to celebrate it with anybody other than my sister. She is amazing. Hey, Sandy. And Sandy is here. Sandy Alexander. Sandy just moved to St. Louis, but when she's here, we always celebrated our birthdays together. So anyway, someone asked me the other day, they said, "Are you 29 still?" I was like, "Oh no, I am 59 and I'm not ashamed to say it." It's the last year in the 50s. Next year might be a different story. I might be freaking out, but I think it's fine. Every single day is a gift from God, and I'm happy to celebrate them. So thank you all for joining me. And again, a gorgeous day here today. So Sandy just said she ordered the stamp set and she's excited to see your card. Thank you, Sandy. Let me tell you what, I am loving this bundle. It is called Plentiful Plants. And I'm going to introduce this bundle to you today. And, you know, since COVID started, I was always a demonstrator who was face-to-face. And you came to my classes. I love people. I love being with people. But then, of course, when COVID happened, we couldn't do that. So I am now starting card classes again. And this is going to be my first feature. So it is a pre-purchase class. Basically, I am doing it in person on July 9th. You can come at 10 or 2. Class size is very limited. I'm going to still keep it small. But if you want to stamp in person, my house is open to you in the Great Bridge area of Chesapeake. But I have an online option too. And I think the online option to a class is fantastic because it will be complete with videos. You will receive the stamp set with your class and you will make 4 amazing cards. I always promise they'll be upscale. This is one of them. And so this is your little sneak peek. So the class is $40 if it includes the stamp set because you'll need it to make your cards. And if you want to upgrade it, you only pay $68 and that includes the perfect plant dies. You can come by the house and pick it up, or I'll be happy to send it to you priority mail for an additional $7.95. With this, though, I wanted to share with you, in this class, I'm going to be sharing some other products too. Like today, I'm going to be showing you these awesome Whimsy dies and stitched Whimsy dies. Excuse me. I love how everything is stitched. There's also a stitched greenery die that caught my eye. A macrame 3D folder. In the suite, there is a paper lattice and designer paper. Your cards will include all these things to give you a great introduction to all these different products. In fact, I couldn't stand it. I paid the extra shipping for my 2-day order, and I am just waiting on my UPS man to ring my doorbell so I can keep creating. So again, if you're interested in the class, let me know. I will post it as an event on my page, but also I send it in the newsletter. So if you currently are not receiving my newsletter, please go to creatingwithcolleen.com and sign up for it. I share a lot of inspiration with you. And again, praise the Lord, we are starting classes again, and then we will have an opportunity to create even more. So welcome, Patty. And we're going to get started with no further ado. So this here is, again, a sneak peek. So if you've been looking, it's already spoiled for you. It was a spoiler alert. But this is one of the cards you will be making in my Plentiful Plants class. So you know I love a special fold. My card opens as such. And I had to have these right from the start because I'm one of the hippies from the past. And I used to do my own macrame plant holders. I remember I had one just like this. It was black macrame with these awesome beads. I can't imagine I still don't have it because I do keep most things from the past. But I love this set from the start. When my husband and I got married 40 years ago, it will be 40 years on the 27th, we were madly in love and didn't own a thing. He had a mattress he slept on. He had the mattress. I had 50 houseplants. I had such a green thumb back then. Our house looked fully furnished. He had a killer stereo. I had all the albums. And you know what? We were set. Life was good. So introducing the Plentiful Plants. Stephanie, if you're in Wisconsin, you can always get it as a kit to go. and take that kit with you and stamp in Wisconsin. Just some food for thought. So with this kit, basically this entire suite, it is called the Bloom Where You Are Planted Suite. And this is on page 80 and 81 of the annual catalog. They have a lot of wonderful samples here. And then you have your stamp set in your bundle. But with this, and again, these are some of the things you will be creating with in your class, is these paper lattice pieces. I have some ideas with those, and again, they're coming today. You will create with the designer paper. So everything in this suite, you will get a sampling of with your class. So with the stamp set, it's called Plentiful Plants. Again, I love the font. I think the sayings are wonderful. You touched my heart. A little note with the biggest thanks. You were there. I'm very grateful. But I just love the greenery and the plants. And this is a distinctive stamp. So it really has an awesome texture when you stamp with it. Now for the perfect plant dies, they are pretty awesome too. When you look at the dies, try to pretend this part isn't here yet. These are the dies. So where they are stamped, all these dies here match your stamps that you can cut out. Then you have some standalone dies, like the little baskets. And this is so cool. I'm going to hold it up. I don't know if you can see it. With this little stand, your basket slides inside there. Stinking cute. And then, of course, we have our macrame. We have the plant where you can just cut out of cardstock. And then these three little pieces here. But what is awesome that Stampin' Up! Has done, and it gets me every single time, is they match the dies to the designer paper. And that I absolutely love. So in your designer paper that I'm going to show you for a minute, these dies coordinate with the pieces, and then you don't even have to stamp or color. Just punch it from your paper. So talking about the designer paper, you know we have the best, and I don't say that just because I sell it. I say that because I believe it. I really believe it to be true. But you are going to get 12 sheets, and it's 12 inch by 12 inch. So here's some plants. Now, again, the dies can match some of these pots, but at the same time, you could even just fussy cut these if you wanted to, or use it as a background. So that is the first sheet. This, I always love that they've been doing this, because you can take this piece, split it down the middle, cut this 4 by 5 1/4, and you have the bottom part of your card. Simply stamp a word at the top. Yeah, you'll be seeing some of that. So this here is wonderful. And again, more pieces. The dies match these here. But if not, it's a really cute background. Oh, I love green. Green, green, and more green. And this evening evergreen green is amazing. So you have this piece. Lots of pots to cut with dies. And then this piece just takes me right to the jungle. I love it. You know, and the greenery and the forest. I love it. So that's your first side. Now going on the opposite sides, I think it's wonderful because who doesn't love brick? You can have your plants sitting on this brick and it is all of a sudden a patio. So I love that. Then here you have a nice little foliage background. Good patterns. Ooh, some more brick. Love this brick. And it is in the Cinnamon Cider, one of our in colors, which again is gorgeous. Then you have some nice wood grain texture. And this is wonderful. This is just kind of looks a little like stone. So they really went with the natural aspect when they came into doing all of this. And then of course here you have some more wood with the wood grain. So the designer paper really is a must with this. Hey, Julie and Michelle and Lynn. So glad you gals are here. We are having a good time today creating. So the card that I'm going to show you, that is pretty much, actually I say that's pretty much, let me go back to my book. Again, I know I mentioned it in the beginning, but you do have, with the designer paper, the awesome lattice paper pieces. These here. Now these lend themselves to stenciling, to simply putting them on your card. I love the texture of that. Just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. So with this card here, again, it's a special fold, near and dear to my heart. I feel like I'm always telling you that, but let's face it, it is. And I'm going to give you the measurements for this card. So for the card, you are going to need a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 of evening evergreen. You will need a piece of 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch very vanilla. Then you will need a piece of 4 1/4 inches by 2 1/4, and I scored it on this side just under a 1/4 inch. So if you do a full 1/4 inch, you might come up just slightly short on the right side, and you know that would cause me not to sleep. So I just moved it a little under a 1/4 inch because this piece here is what's going to go across the top of your very vanilla. And if it does, you know, if you do a 1/4 inch, just take a smidgen off your vanilla. You just don't want it to be like this, you know, where it's showing on the edge, because that's just tacky, let's face it. Okay, but if it happens, it happens. Hey, they're homemade cards, handmade cards that are made with love. They want something perfect, they can go buy a manufactured card, but it won't have all the love. So here you have your designer series paper, 2 inches by 3 3/4. Then you have a piece of cinnamon cider that is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then this is where your stamping will be. And this is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, just a 1/4 inch smaller than that because they'll get layered. And then you need a couple little pieces. Now you know I just had to use my macrame. Love this. So here's your macrame piece. Then I have with Cajun Craze. By the way, this was crumb cake. This is Cajun Craze. And what's nice, if you can tell, I don't know if you can see that, I just stamped on there. So it just gives it a little bit of a shadow, but that was just tone on tone, the Cajun Craze cardstock in ink. I don't feel like my lighting is that great today. I'm gonna have to work on that. Then I just have a piece of linen thread that I tied into a little bow. So now my job will be to keep up with that while I create this card for you. You can all wish me luck. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4 by 5 1/4 very vanilla. And when I first made this card and I put it on here, there was nothing on the vanilla. And I just kind of felt like it needed something. I am a texture person, so I am so glad that we have these stitched whimsy dies. If I had tried to stamp some leaves or something on there, it would have thrown me over the edge and it would have been too much. But for texture, I didn't want to do the whole piece because I wanted to stamp on the inside. The stitched whimsy dies are perfect. So you get 6 in a pack. They are different shapes, but they do just that. They just give you the texture that you're going to need. So here are the 6, and I actually used the second to the largest one, but that's what's so awesome. When I took my very vanilla, I put this on here, it didn't take anything away from my very vanilla. All it did was add this texture, and it kind of framed my centerpiece. It's exactly what I needed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my craft and rubber mat so I don't get this all over because this is such a small edge here. But I am going to take on the inside of here. I think I might use my liquid Tombow. I never know which one I grab, so hopefully I have a little bit in there, and I do. And with that there, I'm just going to wrap this. The backing is around the back. I'm going to hold it for just a minute. But see how I just wrapped it around the back here? And the reason I didn't do like a big piece is because, you know, I'm going to get as much bang for my buck out of my cardstock. This was 4 1/4, so I just took my sheet, cut it down the long way, gave me the 4 inches here. Had slightly less than 1/4 on the back, and that's really all I need for that. So on this here, I will take my 2 by 3 3/4 designer series paper. And again, with this pack, you have lots of options of different papers that you want to use. I will put this on the front. And then I'm going to take this whole piece and put it on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch evening evergreen. And when I put this on here, make sure you also put some tape on the back here, just to make sure it's really going to stick on there. Okay. And then I'll put this on here. Now, you know I'm living dangerously and getting ahead of myself because I haven't stamped this piece yet before I put everything together. But you know what? Maybe that's just a little confidence. We'll see. We'll see how that works for me. It could go good, or it could be one of those times when I say, welcome to Creating with Colleen, where I teach you what to do, or I teach you what not to do, but I promise to teach you something. So that's why I think I always felt more comfortable with videos than lives, because if I mess this part up, you could bet you wouldn't see it on a video. I would just redo it. So say a little prayer. I would think I would be okay. But on the inside, I am going to stamp. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to stamp that. Let's see what it looks like. Boy, because I have my words here with my Cajun craze, so I was wondering what it would look like here. I'm going to stick with the green. I'll try the other one. So this is a little note with the biggest things. And again, I'm not going to worry about it, exactly where it's at, because this piece covers my center. So as long as I get it in the center, I'm good. So I will stamp. And if you see, I did put, let's hope I can get straight. I did put my little pad down here, because with the photopolymer, that is such an awesome material to make stamps, because it's very firm and you get a lot of detail. But the problem is it doesn't squish a little bit like a red rubber does. So unless you have a fantastic flat surface, it's sometimes good to put this firm foam mat underneath it to make sure you get all the right pressure that you need. So this part is done. I'm just going to set it aside. And now I'm going to show you how to create this center part. So I'm going to take my 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, very vanilla. And I'm just going to stamp my words at the beginning first. So that's with my Cajun craze. And it says, to a dear friend. I have many people I could send this to, and I am thankful for that. So I have to a dear friend. And then to kind of see where I want to put my greenery, I like to just kind of put this right here, get a rough idea, because that's going to hang off the bottom, which is really cool. But it's going to go here, but I kind of have a rough idea where to put my leaves. And when you do that, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be really ugly until you put your basket on it. So what I'll do, I love how this stamps. I'll just kind of guess, because guessing is good too, like maybe sometimes. So I'll put my greenery there. All this is kind of gonna crash here at the bottom. A little greenery there, and then to fill the inside, I'm just gonna give a huff. And maybe on this side too. So this is like all jumbled there, but that's what you're not gonna see, which is so cool. So I will take this, since it's all stamped, and I'll mount it on my 2 1/2 by 3 3/4 cinnamon cider. Okay. So now for this piece, again, I'm going to pull in my Craftin' rubber mat. And the reason I love the green Tombow liquid glue so much is because it's tacky, it's strong, and it dries really quick. So I don't need a lot of glue. You really need a light hand with this. So when I put this in here, my little thing from the outside, I just need to put a couple little pieces like right in here. Okay. And again, I went ever so lightly. So with this facing down, because you're looking at the back side of it, I'm going to put my little plant basket there. I will turn it over. And sometimes it's good to have a little tissue. If not, fingertips work good. You're just going to be a little tacky on your fingers during the day. But that puts the basket inside of here. So then on the back, I'm just going to take a couple of small, love these little mini dimensionals. I don't have to cut anything in half anymore because these are perfect. And then I'm going to pull these off, because I do want to have some dimension here with my basket sticking out. So then I will just put these here, put it right there. And then to hold this top down, what I'm going to do is, again, I have a bow, a linen thread bow, which I tied while y'all weren't looking, like before I even started, because for some reason it gets like really tricky when you have a bunch of people watching you. But what I did is I just tied it, and then I just kind of like to lick my fingers there and untwirl this a little bit. Makes it look a little more not so tight. So I'll pull those apart once I've untwisted them. And that'll give me like two little pieces down on the bottom here. Here we go. Just get your something pointy to kind of pull that apart. So that just, I think, makes it look a little bit more natural. And then I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm really just going to put my glue dot right on top. Because since there is a hole here, it's going to be held down. It'll hold the top down. Plus, it's going to allow me to just put my little bow on here. Oh, let me make that a little prettier. There we go. And then when I push it down, I've got my little plant. So I have to say, Danny and I have been doing our flower beds. He has mulched everything. He's honestly the hardest working man I know. And we have had an awesome time buying plants. And I'm trying to get the ones that will come back every year, because if not, that's a lot of plants every year. So this will work out good to have some that come back all on their own, God willing. I just have to keep them alive. So on my piece here, it's going to go in like that. So from about here up is where I'll put my dimensionals. So I'm going to put one at the top, one a little bit more at the bottom, and the side. And that's going to keep this from teetering around. So here, I just center it up. So I have that whimsy all the way around. And that is how simple this card can be. So again, I love it, but I think I love it because of the earth tone colors. I love the plants that are with it. I just think it's, and again, the sayings too. I think it's a lot of fun. So again, don't forget, I'll be having that class. And again, there are online options where you will get all the supplies to make the 4 cards, plus videos, complete with all your directions. You can watch me do it online, and I will be featuring other products, but definitely everything in this suite. So for $40, you get the Plentiful Plants class. You'll get 4 cards and this stamp set, because you will need to be doing your own stamping. If you already have this stamp set, no worries. Just look at the price of the set in the catalog and pick out another set for the same price. You just need to have this to do your stamping. And again, if you would like all of these, because I don't know how you could live without the dies when you actually have the stamp set. I mean, to me, they just go together. Then your class, you can add the dies on for additional $28. So for $68, you get the stamp set, the dies, and all the pieces to make 4 awesome cards, complete with your envelopes. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Man, we went through this pretty quick today. It's under 30 minutes. So I just hope you guys have a wonderful day. And again, I am waiting on my ups man, because he's bringing me the other supplies where I can create this afternoon. So it's going to be a great day in Chesapeake, Virginia. But please check out my YouTube channel. Go to my blog and request my newsletter. Everything I do is Creating with Colleen. And I just appreciate you guys joining me here today on our Facebook Live. So Stephanie said, cute. Hey, Marilyn, I'm glad you could join us. I do, like I said, COVID this last year was pretty tough. And of course I had to do a lot of social media, my Zooms, my Facebook Lives. But I have to tell you, there are a lot of blessings in that because I wouldn't be able to see all of you here with me today. Stephanie said, how much is the Designer Series paper? It's $11.50, Stephanie. Yes, $11.50 because it's not a specialty paper. It's just plain pretty. So thank you for joining, Linda. You'll have to go back to the beginning, and I hope you will. Check it out. So let me know if you want to attend this class. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Again, in-person and online options, but I think you would have a wonderful time. Thank you all for joining me today, and if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Until next week, I'll see you next Wednesday, live at noon. May you all be blessed, and please stay safe. Take care now. Bye-bye.